Hey everyone, how are you doing on setting personal boundaries? So, if you're struggling with setting personal boundaries for yourself around the situation with your adult child, raise your hand. So, many of you I know are raising your hand right now, and I also want to acknowledge the fact that I know how hard it is to keep those boundaries, to set those boundaries, but especially to enforce them because sometimes we don't realize how much pain it's causing us. But when you get to the other side of that, you're going to realize that there's less pain in enforcing it and getting through it than there is in the beginning. So for those of you that are new to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Sally Harris, and I am a mom who walked a difficult road with my own daughter for over 10 years. And while her life spiraled out of control, mine did the same. And I don't want that to happen for you. And so now I have the honor of helping moms walk through this difficult season. So let's talk about boundaries. So there's so many boundaries that you could set, that you may need to set, and each one of your family is different. I can't say that absolutely every one of you is going to have a list of boundaries you have to set, but it's not a cookie cutter approach. Each family is different in what they're going through, and what one mom or situation can handle or is doable is not the same as another family. And so don't compare yourself. Don't compare, what you're doing with your adult children and how you're handling things to someone else, right? Don't play the comparison trap. One thing I want to mention with this is, boundaries, you have to remember that they are for you. So many times we say, oh, I need to set boundaries around my child. I have to set boundaries for my child. That's when they're little, right? When they're little, you can do that. When they're adults, you don't get to put the boundaries up for them. You put them around yourself. And so if you keep that at the forefront of your mind when you're creating them, it will be very helpful. The hardest part about the boundary is enforcing it. And it's following through when your heart is aching and when things are tough. That is the hard part. And so many times I hear moms say, it's just too hard. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Even though the child has been extremely disrespectful or is demanding money or is threatening or those kinds of things. But at the same time, there's no self-respect for you if you're not setting the boundaries, right? So it's time to, I don't want to say be selfish, but you have to put yourself first when it comes to self-care and setting the boundaries and taking care of yourself during this time. We all can look in the mirror and realize that there's things that we need to fix about ourselves and how we participated in different relationships or things that we did or said. We can't change the past, right? Nobody is perfect. So I want you to remember that this is not about beating yourself up. This is about being cognitive of, really acknowledging, what needs to change. What am I able to tolerate? What is eating me up inside? What is driving me crazy to where this has to stop or especially whether they're in your house or they're not in your house, it really doesn't matter. The boundaries, many of them will be the same. You're going to have more boundaries around someone who's in your physical space. So if your adult child is still at home and you're trying to, get them to work, or you're trying to get them to participate with the finances or whatever that is. So there's that whole thing, but just keep in mind that you are doing the best thing for them as well as for yourself. Because in the long run, our adult children need to realize, many of them do, but many of them don't. But they need to realize that life has restrictions. Life has authority. It's just, they kind of buck the authority system. Some of your kids did it in school. Some of your kids did it to you. Some of your kids did it to the authorities, right? Like anybody who has any authority over them, they buck them. Why? Because they have a control issue. They're wanting to take that control. So you need to use that control piece that you have and put it around yourself and stop trying to control your kids, because it's not going to work, and all it's going to do is cause major, major frustration for you. And so I don't want to see that happen to you anymore. So I encourage you to make a list of the things that are really bothering you and what are non-negotiable anymore. What can you just not handle anymore? What is over the top? This needs to change. And think about how you can, think about your participation in it, but also what you can do to change it. How you personally can make changes to it. And then the rest of it would be, creating that boundary, protecting your space and your emotions, physical and emotional, right? Your entire space, including your home if that's the case. So I hope that helps you today. Boundaries is such a big, big subject and we could talk about it for hours. For those of you that I've never chatted with before, if you're interested in a discovery call, the link will be below and I will talk to you soon. Take care.